Hey guys, today we're doing another compilation review video for smaller paddle brands. The paddles we'll be looking at today are the Vindiction Vice, the GetProQuik Switch, the A11N C8 Zenith, the Bond Pioneer Neo 14mm, and the Arronax XT700. Starting off, let's look at the Vindiction Vice. This is a Gen 2 thermoform paddle with an elongated shape and a T700 carbon fiber surface. It has a 5.5-inch handle and a 16mm polypropylene core. Mine came with a swing weight of 116 and a twist weight of 6.05. So compared to other Gen 2 elongated paddles, these two measurements are on the lower end, meaning it's quicker to swing, though a bit less stable and forgiving on off-center shots. It reminds me of the Yola Perseus, but even lighter and less forgiving. It's one I do recommend adding some lead tape to in order to improve the sweet spot and forgiveness, but overall, it's a solid paddle that does come in at a low price of $89.99, which drops down to around $80 after a discount code, making it the cheapest elongated Gen 2 paddle I've hit so far. It's just a bit on the lighter end, but it's not a bad option to pick up. Next, let's look at the GetProQuik Switch paddle. This one is also elongated, with a 16mm core and a T700 carbon fiber surface, but it's a Gen 1 paddle, so it's cold pressed and not thermoformed, and the handle is only 5 inches long. The swing weight is 115 and twist weight is 6.04. Unlike the Vice, this one is a control paddle that's much softer with less power, and because it doesn't have the edge foam in the perimeter, it also has a smaller sweet spot. It goes for $69.99, which is around the same price as other Gen 1s like the A11N C8 Carry, so it's priced pretty affordably. It's not a bad option if you want an elongated control paddle, but it does have a cheap feeling handle, and there's nothing too special about it, since there are already a lot of similar paddles to it on the market at that price point. If you did want to spend a bit more, I recommend checking out the Vatic Prism series instead, which has a more durable construction and better sweet spot from the edge foam. Again, not a bad paddle, but I do think there are better options you can pick up these days at a comparable price. Next, let's move on to the A11N C8 Zenith. We covered the A11N C7 Carry paddle in the previous episode, which was a solid Gen 1 carbon fiber paddle. The Zenith series is thermoformed with a 3K carbon fiber surface. The C8 is a standard shape, so it's 15.75 by 8 with a 5.25-inch handle and a 16mm core. At the time of this video, this paddle is on sale for $79.99, and with my discount code, this drops down even lower. There aren't that many Gen 2 standard shape paddles at a sub $100 price point. The only one I can think of is the Picnics Pro, but that one has a shorter handle which makes two-handed backhands more difficult to perform. The C8 Zenith is very similar to the Sword & Shield J3, but it's a bit softer in feel from its 3K weave in the surface, and it has a slightly shorter handle at 5.25 inches, though I still found this comfortable to hit a two-hander. The C8 Zenith has a swing weight of 106 and a twist weight of 6.76, so it's pretty maneuverable and has a solid sweet spot and forgiving feel. It honestly is a very underrated paddle on the market, especially for its price, and it's one I do recommend people check out if they want an affordable Gen 2 standard shape paddle with a big sweet spot, as it's something players of all levels could play well with. Lastly, let's take a look at the Arronax XT700. This is another one of those Amazon brands, so there isn't too much info on them. This paddle here is a 16mm elongated shape, and you'll notice that it has several holes placed around the sides and the throat to make the paddle more aerodynamic. It does have a low swing weight for a 16mm paddle at 110, but the twist weight is also pretty low at 5.65. If you've ever hit a power air, this basically feels like that except with a thicker 16mm core, so it's a lot softer feeling. But other than the sleek design, there's nothing special about this paddle, and I would not recommend this. I basically have the same thoughts about this as I did on the Warping Point paddle in the previous episode. Very low spin from the paint grit, low power, small sweet spot, and very unforgiving. Even with lead tape, there are just better performing paddles out there. Anyways, that's it for this episode of Small Paddle Company Reviews. I've added links in the video description below if you do want to pick any of these paddles up. Also, let me know down in the comments below if there are any other small name paddle companies you would be interested in me taking a look at. I don't think it's heavier. Do you think it's heavier than the
flash?
Like when I was hitting the V7, generally the V7.
Oh, I didn't even think it was there.
Already hit the V7.